Good morning. Saturday morning. I'm at home again this morning. A few years ago, I was lying in bed in the middle of the night and I had a phone call from the hospital where my mum had been ill for a couple of weeks, and the nurse said, "I'm awfully sorry to have to tell you, but your mum has died in the night. But I just thought you should know." And I was gobsmacked because I thought she was getting better. Now, and looking back on that, I realised she wasn't. It was completely obvious that she was within her last days of life, because the things that were happening, it was completely clear that all her organs were shutting down and she was in the process of dying. And yet I hadn't allowed myself to go there. I was kind of blind to what was really going on. And that's kind of what I want to talk to you about this morning. Let me explain. Last year, I was in Barbados with a colleague doing a job. I know, pretty glamorous, eh? We were sitting on the beach watching this frigate bird about 1 kilometre out to sea, circling in thermals above the sea. And I'd been watching these birds during the week, and I did a little bit of research on them, and I found out that these birds hardly ever land. They spend the whole time in the air, just thermaling. They even sleep on the wing, and they don't even land on the sea. When they swoop down, they're beautifully circling in the air, and then all of a sudden they kind of tip over and go down like this, and then they scoop a fish out of the water and they eat it on the wing. Incredible. And I was talking to my friend and colleague about the fact that it's whether or not God exists. And he said to me something really interesting. He said, I'd love to believe in God, but I need some proof. Looking back, I find it almost laughable. It would be laughable actually if it wasn't so sad, because we're looking at what Christians call creation. Do you call the world creation if you're not a Christian? I wonder. I call it creation because it's so obvious that the world has a creator, in the same way that a painting has a painter, or a bit of pottery has been made by a potter. It is just blindingly obvious. We don't need any proof. The proof's right there in front of us, and yet it's like we're blinded. It seems to me that if we have a vested interest in not believing something, we can put all kinds of barriers up in the way to stop us going there or even thinking about it. And what I want to say to you this morning is, if you are somebody who does not believe in God, I want to ask you to ask yourself whether there's some reason that you're putting up barriers, that you're refusing to go there. And I'd just like to implore you, this is really important. Ask God if he's there to show himself to you, to remove. There's a little story in the Bible where it says something about the scales fell off somebody's eyes. It's become an expression, hasn't it? Ask God just to let you see clearly, because there's a lot at stake here. Thank you for listening. That's all I wanted to say this morning. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.